Welcome to Tea&Gab podcast. I hope you are doing well. And today I would like to share some of my experiences with the book Resurrection by Machado de Assis, who is a Brazilian author from the 19th century. Well, starting with the plot, I don't want to tell the whole story, but at least, give an introduction and something that I consider helpful to understand the story and my reflection. The story is about Dr. Felix, who is a rich physician. He studied medical school, in a medical school, became a doctor and got his own money. At the end, when his parents passed away, he received all of their patrimony, all of their money and everything. So he was basically not working at the point when the book starts. And he's a man who every 6 months has a new lover. And this time, his second to last lover is Cecilia. And it's very interesting because at the beginning of the book, he's about to break up with her, and he does. And she's brokenhearted, and he comes back home, just, smoke some cigars and spend time at home reflecting on life. And he's a man who tries to control himself a lot because he wants to keep his social status, up. Being a man of a high society, having money, being known to live in continence, not having sexual relationships with any women. And he never got engaged, he never got married before, and he's 36 years old. So, but he's really trying to control his emotions and feelings and everything that's is just, abstract, part of our humanity. That's so interesting because he meets another woman, Olivia. She is his best friend's sister, and he doesn't know what to do. He just falls in love, and he loves her and he loves being with her. But every time he comes back home, he asks himself, is it possible? Am I being controlled by my own emotions, by these women that, how can I be sure she will never betray me or she really loves me, He always has doubts in his heart and his mind. And that's why it takes a long time to get engaged and even plan the day of marriage. And so, just to explain a little bit more, in the introduction of the book, Machado quotes Shakespeare. And basically, he wrote this novel to explain this quote by Shakespeare, which is, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. It's a nice phrase. I have experienced in my own life this phrase. After reading this novel, I really realized that. And still it's something that echoes with me and I'm still reflecting on. And I really would like to share this story. And so going forward, in the end of the book, Dr. Felix and Olivia are about to get married, and he receives a letter from another guy who has some interest on Olivia, but it's just like, sexual interest because he's already married with another woman. But it's not like a malicious letter in a sense that has lies or, different stuff. It's just a letter that brings more doubts on Dr. Felix's heart and mind. And so that makes him so crazy to the point that the day before the ceremony of marriage, he flees from his house to another place in the same city, where he had another house on the shore of the sea. And he sends a letter to Olivia saying, I'm sorry, I can't get married now because I have my doubts. It's not about you, it's not about anything wrong you did. It's just about me. I have these problems that I have to figure out. So I'm sorry, I can't do this now. And so that's maybe the high point of the book, because Livia falls ill, feverish, and all of these things come. And poor woman, she was about to get married. She loved him, and at the end, he stepped back. So he stepped back on the marriage ceremony. That's a horrible experience, of course. It's something very intense in the book. And what happens is that a friend of this couple comes to visit her and promises to talk to Dr. Felix. And so he does. He goes to him, he talks to him there in his own house, and tries to convince him, or at least, call his attention, say, hey, what you doing? Have you noticed that you just messed up? And Dr. Felix, reflecting after 2 or 3 days, really realizes that what he did was totally an absurd, horrible, wrong, terrible. And he comes back to Livia and apologizes himself and asks for forgiveness and everything. And what Livia says, I forgive you. I really forgive you. But we can't be together. We can't live together our whole lives, because if you have doubts now, how can I be sure that in the future, after 10 years of marriage, you won't have doubts again? I just can't. I can't. I don't want to make you suffer, and I don't want to suffer anymore. And boom. Well, the book doesn't end there, but basically it tells that they both stayed alone their whole lives. Well, their entire lives after that. They never had a relationship with anybody again. And it made me reflect, because that's something, of course, it's not going to happen to me. I hope not even to you. But, in my life, so many times I have doubts. And it's not with another woman. It's not with, somebody, a girlfriend. Sometimes it's with my brothers, with Jesus, in my own relationship with him. And he loves me so much. He gives me everything. He does everything for me. And I doubt. I don't give myself totally to him. And with this book, I can reflect a lot, and I can kind of, make some conscious examine. But also I can relate this with Christ, because he is fully man. And before his passion, before embracing his cross, after the Last Supper, he went to the garden of the olives to pray. And there he had these crises, he had these doubts. And what he did? He submitted himself totally to God, to God's will. Father, I don't want to go into this, to embrace this suffering, this passion. I don't want to drink from this chalice, but may thy will be done. And that's beautiful, how even there Jesus gave us an example of how to solve our doubts. And so, thanks for listening. That was my reflection today. I hope you enjoy it, and see you.